Fuzzy Zola, a name once synonymous with laughter, charisma, and major championship glory, now finds itself entangled in a web of controversy and whispered regrets. The golfer known for his infectious grin and playful spirit, the man who brought a refreshing dose of levity to the often serious world of professional golf, has been revealed to possess a darker side, one that threatens to overshadow his remarkable achievements. At 81, Zola's story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the brightest stars can be consumed by their own demons, and that the path to redemption is often paved with remorse and self-reflection. Zola burst onto the golfing scene like a ray of sunshine, his infectious laughter and quick wit captivating fans and colleagues alike. He was a breath of fresh air in a sport often perceived as stuffy and reserved, a showman who embraced the spotlight and brought a sense of joy and excitement to the game. His journey to the top was anything but conventional. Turning professional in 1973, Zola defied expectations by capturing the Masters tournament in his very first appearance, a feat achieved by only a handful of golfers in history. This historic victory, secured in a thrilling sudden death playoff against Ed Snead and Tom Watson, catapulted him to stardom and solidified his status as a rising star in the golfing world. Zola's success continued, culminating in another major championship win at the 1984 US Open. His ability to perform under pressure, coupled with his unwavering self-belief, made him a formidable competitor. His unique playing style, a blend of power and precision, further solidified his reputation as a force to be reckoned with on the course. But Zola's appeal extended far beyond his golfing prowess. He was a master of connecting with the gallery, entertaining crowds with his jokes and playful banter. His genuine warmth and down-to-earth personality made him a fan favorite, a relatable figure in a sport often perceived as exclusive and elitist. Zola's early career was a testament to the power of perseverance and the triumph of the underdog. He embodied the American dream, a self-made champion who rose from humble beginnings to achieve greatness. His infectious enthusiasm and undeniable talent made him a beacon of hope for aspiring golfers everywhere, proving that with hard work, dedication, and a bit of luck, anything was possible. However, as the years passed, a darker side to Zola's story began to emerge. Controversies and allegations surfaced, casting a shadow over his once pristine image and forcing the golfing world to confront the complexities of a man they once revered. In the digital age, where information spreads like wildfire and reputations can be tarnished in an instant, Fuzzy Zola found himself at the center of a storm in 2007. His Wikipedia page became a battleground of misinformation and defamation, with false accusations threatening to dismantle the legacy he had built over decades. A series of shocking allegations, completely unfounded and malicious, suddenly appeared on Zola's Wikipedia page, painting a disturbing and wholly inaccurate portrait of the golfer. These fabricated claims, which included accusations of substance abuse and domestic violence, threatened to dismantle the reputation Zola had meticulously built over decades. Determined to defend his name and counter the damaging misinformation, Zola took decisive legal action. He filed a lawsuit against a Miami-based consulting firm, Joseph Silney and Associates, alleging that they were the source of the defamatory edits made to his Wikipedia entry. The lawsuit asserted that the firm's computer had been used to post the false and damaging information, tarnishing Zola's public image and causing him significant emotional distress. This legal action aimed to hold the firm accountable for their alleged role in spreading these harmful falsehoods and to seek redress for the damage inflicted upon Zola's reputation. The case against the consulting firm eventually reached an out-of-court settlement, with the firm categorically denying any involvement in the creation or dissemination of the defamatory edits. While the settlement may have provided some degree of closure for Zola, the damage to his reputation had already been inflicted. The false allegations, though ultimately proven baseless, left a lingering stain on his public image, a stark reminder of the Internet's potential to amplify misinformation and inflict harm on individuals, regardless of their intentions or actions. This incident serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the vulnerability of online information and the ease with which reputations can be tarnished in the digital age. It raises important questions about accountability and the responsibility of individuals and organizations to ensure the accuracy of information shared online, especially when it concerns the reputation and well-being of others. For Zola, the Wikipedia lawsuit was a painful and unexpected ordeal, a harsh reminder of the challenges faced by public figures in navigating the complexities of the digital age. It was a stark lesson in the power of the internet to both build and destroy reputations, and the critical importance of safeguarding one's online presence against malicious attacks and the spread of misinformation. Fuzzy Zola's on-course demeanor presented a stark contrast to the often reserved and stoic image typically associated with professional golfers. He was, in many ways, the life of the party, bringing a refreshing sense of humor and levity to the traditionally serious atmosphere of a golf tournament. He was known for his quick wit, his playful banter with the gallery, and his ability to connect with fans on a personal level. For many fans, Zola's antics were a welcome change of pace. His infectious laughter and genuine warmth humanized the sport, making it more relatable and enjoyable for those who might have perceived it as elitist or inaccessible. He was a master of engaging with the crowd, turning a quiet round of golf into an entertaining spectacle that captivated audiences. However, not everyone appreciated Zola's boisterous behavior. Some critics found his on-course antics to be excessive, arguing that his constant joking and interactions with the gallery disrupted the flow of the game and showed a lack of respect for his fellow competitors. They felt that his focus on entertaining the crowd detracted from the seriousness of the competition and undermined the professionalism expected of a top-tier golfer. Zola's tendency to push the boundaries of acceptable behavior occasionally landed him in hot water. He was known for his off-color jokes and politically incorrect remarks, which sometimes drew criticism and accusations of insensitivity. In 1997, he faced significant backlash for a racially charged comment about Tiger Woods, sparking a public outcry and tarnishing his reputation. Zola's story highlights the fine line between entertaining the crowd and maintaining the professionalism expected of a top-tier athlete. Whether one views Zola's antics as endearing or unprofessional, there's no denying that they were a defining aspect of his career. His boisterous personality and willingness to challenge the norms of golf made him a memorable figure, leaving an indelible mark on the sport for better or for worse. Fuzzy Zola's life, a vibrant tapestry of triumphs and tribulations, was marked by a constant struggle that threatened to overshadow his achievements, a tumultuous relationship with alcohol. Throughout his career, whispers of his drinking habits circulated, with instances of public intoxication and even a DUI charge tarnishing his image. Though he maintained his professional standing, the grip of alcohol was slowly tightening. However, Zola confronted his struggles with honesty, openly discussing his battles with addiction and the detrimental impact it had on his life. In his later years, he made a conscious effort to address his alcohol dependence, seeking help and sharing his journey towards recovery. Zola's battles with alcohol serve as a reminder that even the most successful individuals can be plagued by inner turmoil. His story is a testament to the importance of acknowledging one's struggles and seeking help, proving that it's never too late to turn one's life around. The controversies surrounding Zola, including a Wikipedia lawsuit and his on-course behavior, coupled with his struggles with alcohol, created a perfect storm that gradually eroded his career. Sponsorships dwindled and his reputation was tarnished. The psychological and emotional toll was evident. The man known for his infectious laughter seemed to lose his spark. Whether his downfall was self-inflicted or a consequence of external forces is debatable. Regardless, Zola's story serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of fame and the importance of maintaining integrity. His journey from charismatic champion to troubled figure reminds us that even the brightest stars can fall from grace.
JerryPate defied all odds and battled his way to become the next Golden Bear. For a while it seemed like he was well on his way, But golf can be unpredictable. His career took some wild turns, and victories became harder to come by. Still, he never backed down. No matter the challenges, he kept fighting, proving that he was a true champion. JerryPate burst onto the golf scene in a big way, making an immediate impact with his incredible talent. In 1976, at a young age, he won the US Open, proving he had the skill and confidence to take on the best in the world. People weren't just impressed. They were convinced he was destined for greatness. Some even called him the next Golden Bear, a title that carried serious weight. Being compared to Jack Nicklaus, the greatest golfer of all time, was no small thing. It wasn't just hype either. Pate's amateur career had been phenomenal, and his rapid rise on the PGA Tour only reinforced the belief that he was on the path to superstardom. But as promising as things looked early on, golf is a tough game, and success at the highest level is never guaranteed. He faced a major obstacle that changed the course of his career. Injuries, particularly to his shoulder, made it difficult for him to sustain the level of dominance that so many had predicted. Wins became harder to come by, and the major championship success that once seemed inevitable never fully materialized. Still, Pate never let those challenges define him. He had already proven his greatness with his early success, and even when injuries made things tough, he continued to push forward. That kind of toughness says a lot about the kind of competitor he was. While his career may not have played out exactly as some expected, the fact that he was once considered the next Jack Nicklaus shows just how gifted, driven, and skilled he was. This wasn't the only memorable moment he gave his fans. His career was filled with other highlights that are still unforgettable today. From the moment he turned pro in 1975, it was clear that he had something special. He wasn't just another young player trying to make his mark. He was a serious talent with the ability to take on the best in the game. Late that year, he proved it by finishing as the medalist at the PGA Tour qualifying school, setting the stage for what would be an unforgettable rookie season. And unforgettable it was. In 1976, just a year into his professional career, Pate pulled off something that most golfers spend their entire lives chasing. He won the US Open. Winning a major championship so early in his career was a statement to the golf world. He wasn't just a promising young player, he was the real deal. The victory didn't come easy, but Pate handled the pressure like a seasoned veteran. He played with confidence, skill, and a calmness beyond his years, proving that he belonged among golf's elite. That same year, he added another big win to his resume by claiming victory at the Canadian Open. It wasn't just any win. It was the kind of performance that left no doubt about his talent. Pate closed with an incredible final round 63, finishing at 7 under par. And just to make things even more impressive, he didn't just beat a field of strong competitors. He left Jack Nicklaus, the greatest golfer of all time, 4 strokes behind him. That was the kind of impact Pate was making. He was young, fearless, and already taking down legends. With such an incredible start to his career, it was no surprise when he was named both the PGA Tour Rookie of the Year and Co-Player of the Year. Expectations were sky high, and for good reason. Everyone believed that Pate was on his way to becoming one of the sport's all-time greats. Over the next several years, he continued to add to his list of accomplishments. He racked up 6 more PGA Tour victories, along with several other wins in tournaments around the world. His talent was undeniable, and he was proving that his early success was no fluke. In 1981, he reached another career milestone when he was selected to be part of the U.S. Ryder Cup team. It was a proud moment, and even more special because the team ended up winning. Representing his country and being part of a victorious Ryder Cup squad was yet another highlight in what was shaping up to be an incredible career. Just when it seemed Pate was on the path to even greater success, he faced an unexpected setback. Shoulder injuries began to take a toll, gradually slowing him down. The once consistent wins became harder to come by, and the major championship success that many had predicted never fully materialized. By the time he was 28 years old, he had already secured what would be his final PGA Tour victory. That last win, however, was one for the history books. In 1982, he won the Tournament Players' Championship, the first one ever held at TPC at Sawgrass. And if the win itself wasn't memorable enough, The way he celebrated definitely was. In a moment of pure joy, he tossed course designer Pete Dye and PGA Tour Commissioner Dean Beeman into the lake beside the 18th green before jumping in himself. It wasn't the first time he had celebrated that way either. Just a few months earlier, he had done the same thing after winning another tournament, breaking a nearly 3-year winless streak. Even though injuries shortened his playing career, Pate didn't let that stop him from staying involved in the game he loved. He transitioned into a new role as a golf broadcaster, working for major networks like ABC, CBS, and BBC. His knowledge of the game, combined with his easygoing personality, made him a natural fit for television. He brought insight, experience, and a touch of humor to the booth, making golf more engaging and enjoyable for viewers while giving fans a fresh, exciting perspective on the sport and its players. But broadcasting wasn't his only post-playing passion. Pate also developed a deep interest in golf course design and turf management. He founded his own golf course design company and a turf and irrigation business, both of which allowed him to leave a lasting impact on the sport in a whole new way. Among his most well-known designs are Kiva Dunes, which opened in 1995, and the Old Colony Golf Complex, which debuted in 2000 and later became the home course for the Alabama Crimson Tide golf team. Despite the challenges he faced with injuries, Pate never fully stepped away from competitive golf. In 2006, he made a triumphant return to the winner's circle, earning his first Champions Tour victory at the Outback Steakhouse Pro-Am. It was proof that even after years of dealing with physical setbacks, he still had the skill, determination, and passion to compete and win at a high level, showing that true champions never give up on their game. Unfortunately, health issues continued to be a factor in his later years. In 2010, he underwent arthroscopic surgery on his left knee, which forced him to start limiting his appearances on the Champions Tour. While he may not have been able to compete as often as he once did, his impact on the game remained undeniable. So when you look back at his career, it's clear that his journey was about more than just wins and trophies. Sure, he came onto the scene like a rocket, winning a U.S. Open in his rookie season and earning comparisons to the greatest players in the game. And yeah, injuries might have slowed him down, but they never took away what he had already proven. He was a champion, a competitor, and a player who brought excitement every time he stepped on the course. But his legacy isn't just about what he did with a golf club in his hands. It's about the way he played the game, with passion, confidence, and a love for competition. Even after his playing days started to slow down, he stayed deeply involved in the sport. Whether it was as a broadcaster, a course designer, or even helping improve golf course conditions through his turf and irrigation business, he kept finding ways to leave his mark. His story is one of determination, adaptability, and love for the game. He may not have had the career that some expected after his blazing start, but what he did accomplish was unforgettable. From thrilling wins to iconic celebrations and everything in between, he gave golf fans plenty of moments to remember. Well, that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. You know you're doing something right when people say you play so smoothly, it doesn't even look real. That's exactly the kind of compliment Tom Purtzer got, and honestly, it was well-deserved. His swing was like no one else's, effortless and just different. And on top of that, the guy had a way of keeping everyone entertained with his mischievous sense of humor. Purtzer was often praised for having the sweetest swing in golf, a title given to him by fellow players and commentators who couldn't get enough of his effortless, almost hypnotic motion. His swing was a thing of beauty, so smooth, so natural, that it made the game look easy. It wasn't just about how good he was, it was how he did it. There was a rhythm to his swing that set him apart, a kind of elegance mixed with power that left people in awe. Over the course of his career, Purtzer pulled off plenty of jaw-dropping moments, the kind that left fans and even fellow golfers shaking their heads in disbelief. But if you had to pick just one that truly stands above the rest, it has to be what happened at the 1991 Colonial Invitational. That day, in a moment that no one saw coming, he did something so bold and unexpected that it instantly became the stuff of legend. He holed out from a bunker with his putter. Yes, you read that right. While most players would reach for a wedge or a sand iron, Purser decided to go against all logic, grabbed his putter, and somehow made it work. Not only did this wild move help secure his victory, but it also added a one-of-a-kind highlight to his already impressive career. It's one of those moments that people still talk about, the kind of thing that makes golf fans smile even decades later. But Purser wasn't just known for his incredible game. He was also one of the funniest, most mischievous guys on the course. He had this ability to make people laugh, to keep things loose, even when the pressure was high. He just had fun out there, and that energy was contagious. One of the best examples of this happened during a U.S. Open qualifying round, when he and fellow golfer Larry Mize pulled a harmless but hilarious prank on golf writer Gary Van Sickle. The two of them somehow convinced Van Sickle that there was a local rule allowing players to ground their clubs in bunkers. Now, for anyone who knows golf, that's a big no-no. But Van Sickle, trusting them, went ahead and did it, only to find out later that he'd been completely tricked. It was the kind of joke that could only come from guys who truly loved the game and each other's company. Purser wasn't just another talented golfer. He was one of the most respected, admired, and smoothest players the game has ever seen. There's something special about an athlete who not only plays well, but makes it look effortless. Let's take a step back and see where it all began. Purser's journey to professional golf started at Arizona State University in Tempe, where he played for the school's golf team. Even back then, his talent was obvious. He had a swing that was already different from most players, a natural, fluid motion that made the game look almost too easy. His college years helped shape him into the competitor he would later become, giving him the foundation to take his game to the next level. In 1973, after graduating, Purser made the decision that every aspiring golfer dreams of. He turned professional. And from the moment he stepped onto the PGA Tour, it was clear that he had something special. While some players take years to find their rhythm in the pro ranks, Purser didn't waste any time making a name for himself. Winning on the PGA Tour is no easy feat. Some incredibly talented players spend their entire careers chasing that first victory. But Purser was different. He won in 3 different decades. Purser captured 5 PGA Tour titles, each one a testament to his smooth, powerful, and precise game. While some golfers have an aggressive, hard-hitting style, Purser was all about finesse. He didn't need to overpower the ball. His natural ability and textbook perfect swing did the work for him. The way he struck the ball made even the toughest shots look like they were no big deal. But his success didn't stop there. After his time on the PGA Tour, Purser transitioned to the Champions Tour, where he added 4 more wins to his resume. The Champions Tour, made up of some of the greatest golfers to ever play the game, is no walk in the park. Competing against legends, Purser continued to showcase the same skill and precision that had made him a standout in his younger years. Every golfer dreams of winning a major championship. The Masters, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship are the tournaments that define legacies. While Purser never managed to grab a major title, he came incredibly close. One of his best finishes came at the 1977 U.S. Open, where he placed 4th. The U.S. Open is known for its brutal course setups, with narrow fairways, deep rough, and lightning-fast greens. It's designed to test even the best players in the world, making a top 5 finish an achievement in itself. Purser's performance that year showed that he wasn't just a guy with a pretty swing. He had the game to compete at the highest level. Another standout moment in his major championship career was at the 1982 Open Championship, where he finished tied for 4th. The Open Championship is played on the toughest links courses in the world, where players have to deal with unpredictable winds, deep bunkers, and fast-running fairways. It's a completely different style of golf compared to the PGA Tour, but Purser handled it like a pro, proving his versatility. If there's one moment that truly stands out, it has to be his incredible bunker shot at the 1991 Colonial Invitational. Most golfers, when faced with a bunker shot, will automatically grab their sand wedge. It's the safest, smartest play. But Purser, he went against all conventional wisdom. He pulled out his putter and holed out from the sand in one of the most jaw-dropping shots in PGA Tour history. That shot helped him secure the win, and added a legendary highlight to his already impressive career. Pertzer's career isn't just about the number of wins he racked up or the money he earned. It's about the way he played, the unforgettable moments he created, and the personality he brought to the game. He was one of those rare players who didn't just play golf, he made it look effortless and cool. Whether it was his signature smooth swing or the way he handled the pressure, Pertzer had a way of making the game feel like art. His swing remains one of the most admired in golf history, blending power, precision, and grace in a way that still gets talked about today. It wasn't just about hitting the ball, it was about how he made it look so easy, so natural. And what's even more impressive is that he was able to compete at a high level across 3 different decades. That's not just skill, it's a true testament to his consistency, adaptability, and love for the game. But beyond the golf course, Pertzer's fun-loving nature is what really set him apart. He wasn't just a player you respected for his game, he was the guy who could bring a smile to everyone around him. Whether it was a prank or a witty comment, he knew how to keep things light even when the pressure was on. Fans loved him, and so did his fellow players. In a sport that can sometimes feel tense, Tom Pertzer was a breath of fresh air. And that wraps up today's video. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the legendary career of Tom Pertzer. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment down below and let us know what you think. Bye. The disagreement that caused Lee Trevino to boycott the tournament might sound unbelievable, but it was a real turning point in his life. Much like the hardships he faced in his career, Lee's childhood was spent in poverty, and he had to overcome personal battles as well. Life truly was a rough ride for him. Trevino had a tough start in life, growing up in poverty in Dallas, Texas. His childhood wasn't easy. He didn't have the comforts many others took for granted, and his family struggled to make ends meet. They didn't have much money, and basic things like food and clothes were sometimes hard to come by. On top of that, being Mexican-American in a time when there weren't many people of his background in the world of golf made things even harder for him. But all those challenges didn't break him. They shaped him. Growing up with such hardships gave Lee a tough, no-nonsense attitude. He learned early on how to work hard, stay focused, and keep going even when things seemed impossible. Trevino has been married 3 times over the years. His first 2 marriages ended in divorce, and it's been said that the pressure of his career played a big part in those relationships falling apart. Being on the road so much with all the traveling and the demands of being a top golfer made it tough to balance his personal life. On top of that, reports have mentioned that his infidelity also contributed to the breakdown of those marriages. The stress of his career and the mistakes he made in his personal life likely caused Lee a lot of emotional pain. It's never easy when things go wrong at home, and having that kind of turmoil while trying to focus on a demanding career couldn't have been easy for him. Despite the personal challenges, he eventually found stability again, marrying his 3rd wife Claudia in 1983, and the two have been together ever since. Trevino had a bit of a rocky relationship with Augusta National, the famous course that hosts the Masters tournament. He wasn't a fan of the whole vibe there. The atmosphere didn't sit well with him, and he also felt like the course just wasn't a good fit for his playing style. He didn't like how it played to his strengths, and that made him uncomfortable. So in response to that, he decided to boycott the Masters for a few years. Looking back on it, though, Lee admitted that it was a decision he regretted. He later called it the greatest mistake of his career. It's easy to see why he felt that way. Augusta is one of the most prestigious tournaments in golf, and turning down the chance to compete there probably wasn't the best choice in hindsight. Trevino didn't hold back when he spoke out about the penalty Collin Morikawa received at the 2021 PGA Championship for breaking a rule with his green reading materials. Morikawa had accidentally used a book that wasn't allowed under the rules, and he was hit with a penalty for it. Trevino thought the whole situation was pretty ridiculous. He called the rule goofy, and he wasn't shy about expressing how he felt. To Trevino, the incident showed just how confusing and complicated the rules of golf can be. He argued that the whole thing didn't seem like a big deal, but the penalty was still handed down, which made him question whether the rules were too strict or just too complicated for players to keep track of. Trevino has made a few comments about Tiger Woods over the years that have stirred up some controversy. At times, his remarks have been seen as critical or even a little insensitive, especially when they have touched on race. While Trevino is known for speaking his mind and having a no-filter approach, some of what he's said about Wood has raised eyebrows. For example, he's made comments about Wood's impact on the game, sometimes in a way that seemed dismissive or less supportive than expected, given Wood's dominance in golf. Trevino has also commented on the attention Wood received as an African-American player in a predominantly white sport, which some people felt was a bit tone-deaf or out of line. Trevino has always been known for speaking his mind. He's the kind of guy who doesn't hold back, no matter the topic. Whether he's talking about the rules of golf, other players, or even social issues, Lee has never been one to sugarcoat his opinions, and because of that, he's sometimes found himself in the middle of a bit of controversy. His outspoken nature means he doesn't shy away from tough or uncomfortable conversations, and that's gotten him into hot water a few times. For example, when it comes to golf rules, Lee has been vocal about what he sees as unnecessary or confusing regulations, often making headlines for his blunt takes. He's also weighed in on issues surrounding players, whether it's criticizing or offering his unique perspective on their behavior or performance. But it's not just golf he's talked about. Lee also made comments about broader social issues, some of which have sparked debates or drawn criticism. Speaking of how his career began, his first taste of golf came when his uncle handed him a few golf balls and an old club. From there, Lee's love for the game took off. By the time he was 14, Lee dropped out of school to work full-time. He earned $30 a week caddying and shining shoes, but that job came with some perks. The caddies had 3 short holes behind their shack, and after a long day of work, Trevino would grab his clubs and hit at least 300 balls, often on tough, bare ground that locals called Texas hardpan, and with the wind constantly blowing. Those conditions were tough, but they helped him develop one of the most unique and effective golf swings in the game. Trevino's swing became famous for being compact and unorthodox, but it was also incredibly effective. One of his signature shots was a controlled fade, though he had a whole range of shots in his arsenal. When Trevino turned 17 in December 1956, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. He served for 4 years as a machine gunner and was discharged in 1960 as a corporal with the 3rd Marine Division. After Trevino was discharged from the Marines, he moved to El Paso, Texas, where he worked as a club professional. To make some extra cash, he would gamble in head-to-head matches, testing his skills against others. Trevino's journey to success in golf was nothing short of remarkable. His big break came in 1966 when he qualified for the U.S. Open. Though he didn't win, he made the cut and finished tied for 54th, earning $600. The following year in 1967, he qualified again and shot 283, finishing 5th, just 8 shots behind the winner, Jack Nicklaus. That earned him $6,000 and has secured him tour privileges for the rest of the season. As a rookie, Trevino finished 45th on the money list with $26,472 and was named Golf Digest's Rookie of the Year. His strong finish also earned him an exemption into the next year's U.S. Open. The real breakthrough came in 1968. In just his 2nd year on tour, Trevino won the U.S. Open at Oak Hill Country Club in New York. He shot an incredible 69, 68, 69, 69, becoming the first player to break 70 in all 4 rounds of a U.S. Open. He won by 4 strokes over Nicklaus, setting the stage for an unforgettable run. In the early 1970s, Trevino became Jack Nicklaus's top rival. In 1970, he finished as the highest earner on the PGA Tour, and in 1971, he won 6 tournaments, including the U.S. Open, Canadian Open, and the Open Championship, becoming the first player to win all 3 in the same year. He was named Sportsman of the Year by Sports Illustrated and received the Hickok Belt as the top professional athlete. Then in 1972, Trevino successfully defended his Open Championship title at Muirfield in Scotland. His 3rd round performance was legendary, 5 birdies in a row, including a bunker shot on the 16th and a 30-foot chip-in on the 18th. In the final round, he was tied with Tony Jacklin, but a key chip-in on the 17th helped him win by a stroke. Trevino famously said afterward, "I'm the greatest chipper in the world." Despite a lightning strike injury in 1975 that caused serious back problems, Trevino remained a top contender. He went on to win his sixth major at the 1984 PGA Championship, making history by being the first player to shoot all 4 rounds under 70. Trevino didn't just dominate in the U.S., he also found success internationally, with victories in Australia, Japan, and Europe. His charisma and talent made him a fan favorite, and he became a star on the Senior PGA Tour, winning 29 times, including 4 senior majors. In 1981, Trevino earned a spot in the World Golf Hall of Fame, a well-deserved recognition for his incredible career. Then in 2000, Golf Digest magazine ranked him as the 14th greatest golfer of all time. It's a testament to how much of an impact he had on the game. All right, that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed it and want to stay in the loop, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Imagine being Mike Reed, knowing you had so much potential and an unbelievable swing. Everything you needed to make it big. He had the talent, the game, the chance to win it all, but somehow it just didn't happen the way it should have. He had what it took, but the success he truly deserved never quite came his way. He was one of those golfers who had everything: skill, a beautiful swing, and a career most players would dream of. He won multiple PGA Tour events, including the prestigious 1990 Bob Hope Chrysler Classic, proving he could compete at the highest level. But despite all that success, one thing always seemed just out of reach: a major championship. For a player with his talent and potential, not winning a major is something fans and analysts can't help but talk about. It's not that he wasn't good enough, far from it. He had the game, the ability, and the moments where it felt like he was right there, on the verge of something truly historic. But golf is a brutal sport, and sometimes, no matter how good you are, the biggest wins just don't come your way. That's what makes his career so interesting to look back on. He wasn't just another golfer. He was a player people expected to see lift a major trophy at some point. And when it didn't happen, it left a sense of what if hanging over his legacy. Some see it as unfulfilled potential, others as a case of bad luck or missed opportunities. But either way, it's a reminder of how tough this game can be, even for the best. Even though he never won a major championship, he still left his mark on the game, captivating fans with his incredible talent and impressive achievements. His path to professional golf started at Brigham Young University, where he quickly made a name for himself. Under the guidance of legendary coach Carl Tucker, Reed developed his game alongside his close friend Pat McGowan, who would also go on to the PGA Tour. From 1973 to 1976, Reed earned All-American honors every year, proving that his steady game could compete at the highest levels of amateur golf. His biggest moment as an amateur came at the 1976 U.S. Open, where he shocked the field by leading after the first round with a brilliant 67. The golf world took notice, and though he eventually finished tied for 50th, his performance showed he had the talent to play with the best. That same year, he won the Pacific Coast Amateur at Los Angeles Country Club and reached the quarterfinals of the U.S. Amateur. By the end of 1976, Golf Digest ranked him as the #1, 7th amateur in the country. Getting onto the PGA Tour can be one of the toughest challenges in golf, but Reed made it look easy, securing his tour card on his first attempt. By 1977, he was competing on golf's biggest stage, and it didn't take long for him to start making a name for himself. In 1978, he had his first real chance at a PGA Tour victory at the Pensacola Open. He played well enough to force a playoff against Mac McClendon, but once again, he came up just short. Near misses like this would become a theme in Reed's career, but he never let them shake his confidence. He knew he had the game to win. By 1980, he had fully established himself as one of the most consistent players on tour. That season, he recorded 13 top 10 finishes. Only Tom Watson had more. His incredible accuracy off the tee led the PGA Tour in driving accuracy, earning him the nickname Radar for his ability to hit fairways with laser-like precision. While the wins weren't coming yet, everyone knew how dangerous Reed could be. He continued to knock on the door, coming close again in 1985 at the Southwest Golf Classic, where he forced another playoff, this time against Hal Sutton. It was another tough loss as Sutton drained a 30-foot birdie putt on the first extra hole to take the win. Another opportunity slipped away, but Reed wasn't giving up. After nearly a decade of waiting, his first victory finally came in 1987 at the Seiko Tucson Open. This time there was no late collapse, no heartbreaking playoff loss, just a dominant performance that saw him win by 4 strokes. It was a moment of validation, proof that he could get the job done. The following year, he continued his strong play, finishing runner-up at the Players' Championship. Later that season, he picked up his second PGA Tour victory in dramatic fashion, defeating Tom Watson in a playoff at the NEC World Series of Golf. Beating a legend like Watson made the win even sweeter, and it seemed like Reed was finally hitting his stride. Then came 1989, a year that could have defined his career in the best possible way, but instead left him with 2 of the most heartbreaking losses in major championship history. At the Masters, he was in an incredible position, leading the tournament with just 4 holes to play. The green jacket was within reach, but on the par 5 15th hole, disaster struck. His approach shot found the water, leading to a double bogey. Just like that, the lead was gone, and instead of a career-defining victory, he finished in 6th place. A few months later, he found himself in almost the exact same situation at the PGA Championship. Once again, he was in contention deep into the final round, and once again, the tournament slipped away in painful fashion. A bogey on the 16th hole and a double bogey on the par 3 17th cost him the lead. Standing on the 18th green, he had a 7-foot putt to force a playoff with Payne Stewart. He missed. Jack Nicklaus, one of the greatest golfers of all time, approached him afterward and said, "I've never felt so bad for anyone in my life. You played too well not to win." It was one of the ultimate compliments, but it didn't take away the sting. Despite the heartbreak, he kept competing at a high level. In 1990, he held the 54-hole lead at the Kmart Greater Greensboro Open, but struggled down the stretch, shooting a final round 75 to finish in a tie for 2nd place. Later that year, he found success overseas, winning the Casio World Open in Japan. Unfortunately, injuries started creeping in, and in 1993, he suffered a bizarre setback when he injured his wrist playing table tennis. The injury required surgery to reattach a tendon, and he missed nearly the entire season. He continued playing into the late 1990s and early 2000s, showing flashes of brilliance even as younger players started to take over the tour. In 1997, he held the 3rd-round lead at the Hawaiian Open but lost in a 3-way playoff to Paul Stankowski. In 1998, he shot a course record 62 at the Westin Texas Open but finished tied for 4th place. His last great finish on the PGA Tour came in 2000 when he placed 5th at the Michelob Championship at Kingsmill. In 2004, he turned 50 and became eligible for the Champions Tour, where he finally got the major championship that had eluded him for so long. At the 2005 Senior PGA Championship, he staged one of the most remarkable comebacks of his career. Down 3 shots with 1 hole to play, he made a long eagle putt on the 18th to force a playoff. JerryPate had a 3-foot putt to win the tournament, but missed it, giving Reed another chance. On the first playoff hole, he buried a birdie putt to claim his first senior major. Afterward, he said, "I feel bad for Jerry. I know how he feels because I felt that way. Fate takes a hand, and I can't explain it, but I'm grateful." 4 years later, he won another Champions Tour major, the Gelled Wen tradition. In typical Reed fashion, he needed late heroics. He and John Cook both found a greenside bunker on the 18th hole. But while Cook's shot left him with a difficult putt, Reed's bunker shot stopped just 6 inches from the hole. Cook missed his putt, and the 2 went to a playoff. On the first extra hole, Reed sank a 12-foot birdie putt to win the title. Though his career was filled with tough losses, there was never any doubt about his talent. He was one of the most accurate drivers of the golf ball the sport has ever seen, a player who could have won multiple majors if just a few putts had fallen his way. But more than anything, he was respected by his fellow players, by fans, and by legends of the game. He may not have won as many tournaments as some, but he left a lasting impact on golf. And in the end, that's what truly matters. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.